Lorraine Carter had lived in the same brick house for over 40 years. At 71, she had memorized every creak in the hallway, every knot in the floorboards, and the way the sun always hit the back porch at exactly 5:30 in the evening. Her late husband, Frank, had built the porch himself during the summer of '85. His hands covered in sawdust and sweat, smiling like he had built a castle just for her. After Frank's passing 12 years ago, Lorraine had slipped into a rhythm of silence. Her mornings began with black coffee and ended with old music playing softly in the background. The house felt too quiet most days, but she learned to fill the silence with gardening, baking, and occasionally sketching in her worn notebook. That autumn morning, she was rearranging the guest bedroom, a task she had avoided for years. She pulled the old rug away and noticed one of the floorboards was slightly raised. Curiosity stirred gently in her chest. With a soft grunt, she fetched a butter knife from the kitchen and pried it loose. There it was, a faded envelope with her name, written in Frank's unmistakable cursive. The ink had bled into the paper, and the edges were yellowed with time. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. "My dearest Lorraine," it began. Frank's words spoke of love, of regret, and of a secret he had kept hidden. He had written it during his final days, afraid to burden her with more grief. He confessed to something she never expected, an old painting he had started for her but never finished. Hidden in the attic behind the insulation, wrapped in canvas and linen. Her heart raced. She climbed to the attic, brushing past cobwebs and dust that hadn't been disturbed in over a decade. She found it just where he said it would be. A soft gasp escaped her lips. It was a portrait of her. Younger, smiling, with her hands buried in the garden soil. Frank had painted her in the simplest, most honest way. Doing what she loved. Lorraine carried the painting downstairs and sat with it on the couch. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She simply looked, tracing the strokes of the man who knew her better than anyone. That night, she placed the portrait in the hallway, across from the mirror. And every morning after, she greeted both versions of herself, the one reflected and the one remembered. In the weeks that followed, something within her shifted. She reopened her art supplies, untouched since the year Frank passed. The brushes were stiff, but the paint still moved. She began to paint again, not just flowers but moments, memories stitched together with color. Neighbors noticed. Her daughter, Emily, was stunned during her next visit. "You seem lighter," Emily whispered, sipping tea. "I remembered something I forgot," Lorraine replied with a soft smile. "That I'm still here." The house hadn't changed, but Lorraine had. The silence still lived in the corners, but it no longer haunted her. It simply rested beside her like an old friend. Some evenings she would light a candle, sit near Frank's painting and whisper, "I found it." Not just the letter, not just the painting. She had found herself again.